Scene one, take two. Welcome to the organ teardown today. And today's unlikely victim is a mid-70s Baldwin digital organ. This organ was a major architectural upgrade for Baldwin. Baldwin, I believe, had made digital organs before, but it was all point-to-point wiring between discrete circuit boards. This design, on the other hand, is a modern 1970s electronic design. Rather than a lot of point-to-point wiring, what we have is we have ribbon cables connecting to a set of boards, which are individual modules that plug into a motherboard for functionality. Overall design of the organ, the brains of it are here. This is where all the sound, all the control is. In addition, we have these backs of these panels. These are the rank switches for the various sounds the organ can make. And we'll see that when we look at the front. Then below that, we have two speakers. So it's stereo speakers, and they're 15-inch speakers, so some nice low end there. We have this box which covers the swell, and that's like a wah-wah pedal for the middle bank, the middle rank of the organ. And then down here we have the AC power supply with a massive transformer. The output of the transformer is AC power. The rectification and the regulation of the voltages happens on the motherboard in this board, and we'll see that when we get to it. For a little more detailed look, we'll start with the main unit here. So this is the motherboard. Coming off that, we have the two speakers. And what we notice is these bundles of wires. These bundles of wires have three functions. The yellow with green stripe wires, that's grounding. So this has a traditional point-to-point star grounding wiring technique. Very good for the 70s. Then we have other bundles which have different functions. This one is going down to the power supply, and it goes up to the on-off switch. So it is AC power. Down here we have the transformer. Here we have four sets of wires. The output of the transformer is AC power. We have these three wires. This is two sides plus a center tap. So this gives you bi-directional or bipolar AC power. It's used for analog. We have a similar set here of three wires, two outside and a center tap. One is probably used for audio electronics. The other is probably used for the amplifier. Then we have two pairs. One of those is probably 5 volts. The other one is probably 12 volts. Pretty standard. The next thing is the ribbon cables. The ribbon cables have two different classes. There are traditional computer ribbon cables, but we also have these more heavy-duty 6-wire power cables. All the cables for the switches go to this board. So this one is handling the matrix switches. And basically, we have various banks of switches that are positive connections, and then we have a control wire, which is the negative connection. And by choosing a bank, we can switch between the banks. So we have a common data cable, which is what all the individual switch circuits go to. And then we have a separate control circuit for each one of the ranks. 1, 2, 3. Underneath, you can barely see it, is the back of the keyboard. And the keyboards, there are two keyboards, and they plug into this board. There are two keyboards. They plug into this board. Also, this common data bus cable plugs into this board as well for that. There is a cable down here that goes to the foot pedals. I don't have them anymore. They're big and bulky. And that is the back. The next thing I want to do is pull apart the wiring harnesses just to see where they go and what they do. And they're put together with the twist ties that you get on loaves of bread. They'd simply staple one to the wood and then they twist it around the wires. I'm just going to go through and start cutting them. And that one. And this one. An extra cable for some add-on peripheral. Not quite sure what it is. Then we do that one, and that one, and that one. And these were obviously twisted by hand, which is interesting. Made in the US of A. Oh, and they're nailed down there. Okay, and we continue on. So now I'm going to organize these. These are the cables that are going to the lower part of the switches for that. Uh, these come off as connectors, and we'll just put them in the back for now. Then there's this cable, which is the 20 pin. All the cables are 16 conductor cables except this one, which is 20 conductors, and we'll tuck that back. This is one of the keyboard cables. This cable goes to the buttons in the very front. We'll see those. And then these are the two keyboard cables. And then finally, down here, this is the keyboard cable for the foot pedal. We'll take that off as well. This is a 6-conductor cable coming from the swell, and we'll talk about that. These two cables, which go to the pots here, potentiometers, and this one goes to the I/O panel. This one also goes to the I/O panel, which is below in the front. It then connects up here, and it looks like this is power, but I'm not sure. Oh, I bet this is actually the speakers. This is the power amplifier because they're big transistors. And it goes to there. And that's probably the audio output, and this is probably something else. Might be MIDI, I don't know. We'll see when we see it. So then these two control cables plug into the motherboard in between this board, which had the keyboards on it. This is the power cable that is coming from the transformer over there. So this is going to the rectifier board, and I'm just going to cut this off. And finally, the swell pedal is over here, and it's between the first and the second card from the left. And then finally, there is a separate one here, which goes to the single knob in front. And I don't know what that is either. It's just got 2 wires. There is a connection between the CPU and this keyboard board. So I'm going to take that off here and leave it there. And so now we have disconnected that. So we can let the disassembly begin. First off, I want to get rid of these. So this was one of those, and it went to between the amplifier and the first board. Okay. Move over. Moving on over. A note about wiring harnesses. They've sort of doubled these over for that. It may be that the wiring harness is a standard part used across a bunch of different organs, and it's designed with the longest length of any organ. And for organs that aren't quite as big, they just double them over to take up the slack. And it's a nice, neat job. There's that. I'm going to cut this down here. There's the AC cord. This board here is how you change it from 110 to 240 volt AC, the American or the European market. Okay, well, time to get rid of more spaghetti. And then there's a ground wire. Some more entrails. Let's strip off these. And let's strip off these. Entrails. Guts of the organ. I should be bleeding electrons right now. Okay, I'll leave these for now. So the next thing to take off are the two speakers. And then I'm going to do the swell box. And then I'm going to take off the motherboard. All right, off with the speakers. And start at the bottom. And hold the speaker while I take the last one off. And there it is. And this is the speaker. We'll get a close-up. It's a 12-inch speaker, and it has looks like an 1.25 inch, maybe a 1 inch, 1.25 inch voice coil, and a whizzer for high frequency. That gives you those crisp highs. So put that to the side, and we'll do the other one. And off with that one. And you put the two speakers on top of each other. Saves the cone. All right. I think I'm done with this. Okay, time to take the brains out. Some brain salad surgery. Off with its head. And oh, and there's a second cable too. Okay, and there are the brains of the outfit, and we'll take a look at them in a bit. And off with the housing for the swell pedal, and there is the swell pedal. Not sure how you're supposed to get that one out. Okay, and this is the swell pedal. It's just simply, it has that, and it looks like it's an optical encoder. Ooh. Interesting. With a resistor. I don't know. And we have that.